Time for a bit of a rant. Hi, I'm Ivan. This is the Detailer's Business Academy, where we strive to take you from detailer to entrepreneur. Having been around the detailing industry for a couple decades now, there are things that come and go that can be seen as fads, that can be seen as little blips on the radar over time. And one of those is pH levels. Now, pH levels, they're important to know, but pH levels aren't everything. There are some wheel acids that have a pH of 2 or 3. That soda you're drinking has a pH of 2 to 3. Can you clean wheels with a soda? No, you can't. Trust me. I've tried. But would you drink a wheel acid? Of course not. So pH level isn't as important as people make it out to be. Yes, it is a measure of what a product can do, but it's not everything. Take a soap, for example. Soap, you can have a pH neutral soap, so somewhere between 6 and 9, that cleans better than a pH of 12 soap. And people have wondered, well, why is that? Again, pH isn't everything. The quality of the surfactants you use, the quality of the ingredients makes a big difference. So that cheap $15 a gallon soap that has a pH of 10, well, it may not clean better than that better quality soap that has a pH of 7. Cleanliness is not all about pH. Now, speaking of pH, there's another thing that's becoming popular, and that's multiple pH washes, meaning you're starting with an acidic, then you go to a caustic, then you go to a rinse or another product to do your final cleaning. They're all well and good, and they've been around for decades. Don't think that it's something new. We used to wash cars starting off with wheel acid, then we'd spray on APC, and then we'd rinse that off and do a soap wash. That's how it used to be done. That was before clay bars. And the reason we did that was to decontaminate. Now, the highly diluted wheel acid, not something I'd use today. But there are a number of products out there that claim they have a multiple pH system. And it's true, they have a multiple pH system, but it comes down to the contact wash that's actually doing the work. You can get relatively clean using a multiple pH system, but if you forget the contact wash, there's still some dirt there. Now, the truck washing industry has been using multiple pH washes for decades. It's nothing new, once again. It's nothing sacred. It's nothing that's been freshly invented. And is it really something you need? In a lot of cases, it isn't. It's great marketing. And as detailers, it's another part of a little rant here, we tend to overthink things. Yes, we do. And in that overthinking, some companies are very quick to react to that overthinking and help us overthink just a little bit more. How do they do it, or why do they do it? I look at it as sort of the drug industry. You've all heard and seen the commercials where they start off with, do you walk upright? Do you breathe? Do you eat? Well, you might be a human being. We have a pill to solve that. Yes, that's about how far-fetched it is. But what they're doing is detailers talk online and someone goes, oh, I tried this, or if I only had this, I think it would make it better. Well, some companies go to their R&D lab and voila, they come up with a product that fills a need, but was the need really there? That's the question. So be very careful with all the products you buy. And as a professional detailer, you shouldn't be trying everything that comes out. There's a lot of YouTube creators that are doing a great job trying all those products for you. And that's their fun. That's what they're doing. But if you're a professional detailer, find products that you like, find products that work in your situation, and continue to use them. In my opinion, the multiple pH thing is a fad. Yes, it served its purpose in the 70s before we had clay bars to decontaminate, but that acidic wash and that high caustic wash can also cause other damages to plastics, rubbers, things like that. So be very careful what you're doing, how they react, and if you are using them and you enjoy them, fine, continue. But don't think they're going to replace the contact wash, and be very careful. A lot of people caution customers not to go through a touch-free car wash because of all the harsh chemicals. That's exactly what the 3 pH wash is. And you know as well as I do, that car wash doesn't get it as clean as a hand wash does because there's no contact. We need contact and cleaning. We can make contact safe, but we still need contact and cleaning. Another thing that I'd like to give a little rant on is over polishing paint. Yes, over polishing. Now, as detailers, our goal is to make the paint look as perfect as can be. But is that what we really should be doing? Is that what our customers really want? My answer to that is no. And here's why. When we are polishing paint, we are never removing a scratch. No detailer has ever removed a scratch through polishing. What we have done is remove the clear coat or the paint down to the level of that scratch. So if you have a scratch that's 20 microns deep and you polish until that scratch is completely gone, you've removed 20 microns of paint or clear coat for the width of your pad to sacrifice that paint. Now, I'm going to continue saying paint instead of clear coat. Just bear with me here, just to make this a little shorter for you. But if I say paint, I mean clear coat. If I say clear coat, I mean paint. It's interchangeable. The surface we're working on, we'll put it that way. So the paint that we're working on, when we're polishing, we are removing paint. If you've ever polished single stage paint, you'll know your pad changes colors, and that color is the amount of paint you're removing. When we're polishing clear coat, we have the exact same amount of transfer on our pads. It's just we don't see it. And when we don't see it, we don't worry about it. If we see it, then we start stressing out. No need to stress out. It's there just because you don't see it. That's why I always recommend washing your pad frequently, as much as possible. But with that, when we're polishing paint, we are damaging the vehicle. We're making it look better, but in essence, we are damaging the vehicle because we are removing clear coat. And if it's a factory clear coat, the less you remove, the better it is. A body shop can never produce the same quality of clear coat. I'm not talking about the look, but the actual quality of the product that a manufacturer can. And that reason is it's a body in white that gets painted. And that means they dip it. It has no plastics on it. It has nothing when they paint it. It's just bare metal. That means they can bake it at a significantly higher temperature, and they use a different chemistry in the factory than in the body shop, because the body shop can't heat it as much as the factory can, because there's plastics, the interior is there, all that stuff. A body shop is not going to take apart a car 100%, get rid of the suspension and all of those things to paint it. But in the factory, that's how they paint it. The paint systems are different. The way of applying is a little different, and the curing is very different. So that is one thing you need to be cautious of. When you're polishing, you are not removing scratches. You're removing paint down to the level of the scratch. And that's all well and good. You're done. The car looks perfect. What happens the next time someone else tries to polish in that same area? They could burn through without knowing it, because your customer, they got that car scratched before bringing it to you. Or if you bought a used car, it came scratched, and then you're going to take care of it. Great. But if you're a professional detailer, your customer is bringing you a car, A, you don't know what it's gone through. B, you don't know what the next person's going to do to it. So we want to be stewards of the paint. We want to protect it. As detailers, our goal should be protection over perfection. And today's cars, the paint is getting thinner and thinner and thinner. They're doing everything to save weight and save money. And that means cutting down the amount of paint and clear coat on a car. The paint is probably the most expensive part of a car, unless you've got a really, freaky exotic. But normally the paint is more expensive than the engine because of the labor involved, because of the products involved, because of the time involved. And as detailers, we feed our egos by making paint look perfect. Don't go for perfection. Don't go for removing every scratch. If you're a professional detailer, find out what your customer sees, not what you see. What your customer wants, not what you want. Because in the end, it's their car. It's not yours. And making paint perfect is not necessarily a good financial decision for a professional detailer. Before the customer brought the car to you, it got scratched. How did it get scratched? Well, from the way they wash the car, from taking it through the car wash, from the snow brush in the winter, all sorts of things have scratched that car. And just because you've polished the car, put a coating on it, does not mean that that customer is going to automatically change their ways and become the most anal retentive car washer in the world and not scratch it again. No, no. If they scratched it before, they're going to scratch it again. No matter what you do, no matter how you scare them, it's still going to happen. So there's no point in making the paint perfect. Now, if it's a show car, a trailer queen that will never get driven on the road again, sure, go for it. Wet sand, do all of that. I've done it many times before. It's rewarding. It's fun, as long as they're paying you for that. But if someone is getting a daily driver, something they're going to be driving every day back and forth to work or even just on the weekend, but it's a regular car, it's not a showpiece in the sense that it never gets driven. It might be their showpiece. They might take it to Cars and Coffee, but it still gets driven on the road. Perfectly flat, wet sanded paint is actually not a good thing. It allows you to see defects way, way better. So the more you polish, the more defects you're going to see. It's a weird little thing. Orange peel is actually manufactured into the vehicle. If they wanted to at the factory, cars would not have orange peel. But they program it in because it hides little defects. So again, we have this goal of trying to make paint perfect. Make it perfect from 5 feet away. That's what your customers want. That's what you should be aiming for. And you'll be a little more profitable when you do it that way instead of trying to make everything absolutely perfect. Another thing that sort of gets under my beard as well is people's attitude on social media. Now, here at Thor and at DIY Detail, we're very, very lucky. The people that watch this content and the people that comment on the content are generally very polite and very nice. And if you join us on a premiere, you'll see there's a whole group of people there that are having fun, talking to each other, saying, how's it going, etc. It's a nice, jovial group, and they're all there to support each other. But on some channels, it's quite the opposite. And it could be the content creator that's fostering that, but generally it isn't. But you get people that are just having a bad day, and it shows because all they can do is criticize. They can't say, hey, you did a great job. No, they have to criticize. My mother used to say, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Now, constructive criticism is very different than just outright bashing and being nasty and rude. Like I said, on some channels, that's not a problem, and let's keep it that way. But if you're seeing someone that's constantly bashing and constantly trolling, I want to point it out to them that they're not being a nice person, that there are better ways of going about it, and that we should all be trying to get together and help each other. That's what this is all about. Detailing is fun. Detailing should not be stressful. Detailing should not be this nasty thing that people cringe. No. We're a fun group of people. We like having fun. We like making cars clean. We're not curing cancer here. We're not saving people's lives. We're making cars shiny. We're making cars clean. Now, some will argue that they can save a life once in a while because there's some interiors that a human being should not be in. But those interiors, thankfully, are few and far between. So please stay away from the mindless arguments and the ongoing battles and debates. Detailing is fun. Do it the way you like it and keep going. There's no real wrong way to detail, but there's absolutely no right way to detail. There's a lot of different ways. They all work. And in the end, if you get the results you want, great. Enjoy. Have fun. Something else that might straighten my mustache is wasting time. A lot of detailers, especially if you're new to detailing, and you've seen all the Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all those posts, and you're thinking, this is the only way to do it. Little known secret, some people do stuff to get views. Yes, it may not be the best way to do things. It may not be an efficient way of doing things, but it's great to look at, and it's fun. One example, taking a brush, one of those fancy little brushes, and just foaming up the interior. Now, that looks cool, and it could be fun for a while. But if you're doing a whole interior that way, you're not going to have fun in the long run. It's going to take you a lot of time. So if you're a professional detailer, take what you see on the internet with a grain of salt. They might be doing it for views, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're providing entertainment. There's a lot of channels that are very entertaining and they're there for entertainment. There are some channels that are there for education. There are some that are there to promote products. And there are some that are just there to entertain you. With that entertainment, they might take some liberties when it comes to detailing. One of those liberties, like I mentioned, is the fact that they could be using that brush. That's just an example. But there are a lot of things that over time take a lot of your time. And when you're wasting that time, that could have been spent with your family. That could have been spent detailing another car. That could have been spent working on your business. That could have been spent just taking a walk, going for an ice cream, whatever. But know that not everything on the internet that you see needs to be done that way. You don't need, and I'll pick on the interior brushes again, you don't need to brush every square inch of the interior with a brush and lather it up. It's not cleaning any better, it's not doing any better, and it's not helping you. Now, if you're trying to get views and you're on Instagram, that might be a great way to do it, or on TikTok or some other platform. If you're looking for that, great. But if you're trying to detail your own car, well, may not be the best way of doing it. Detailing needs to be fun, should be fun. It shouldn't be seen as a chore. It shouldn't be seen as, oh God, I've got to detail the car. No, it should be seen as great. I get to go out and detail the car. Now, a lot of you do this as a hobby. It's a great hobby to have, by the way. But you do it as a hobby. And the time you spend is not as important as a business owner. If you're a business owner, you want to be as short and to the point as possible. If you're a hobbyist, there's some of you that want to spend as much time as possible out in the garage. So instead of spending 20 hours on one car, why not try to spend 10 hours on two cars? Yes, and then spend time relaxing. Get a nice comfortable chair in that garage and just stare at the car, listen to music. Maybe organize your tools, things like that. But once again, don't waste your time. As an old guy, I'd like to talk to you about posture and the importance of it. And you younger folk out there, well, guess what? Posture isn't important to you because your back isn't sore yet. It will get there. So learn how to have proper posture when you're detailing. Learn to not put your body in compromising situations. And there are little things you can do. One of them is very simple. Take your phone, set it on a shelf, on a tripod if you have one, whatever, and just film yourself detailing for a little while. And then look at what you're doing. And bad posture is often seen when polishing a vehicle. People get so tuned into the polisher that they forget the body that's holding the polisher. You don't need to have your nose 2 inches away from the pad smelling the polish. You don't need to be bent over. You can sit up straight or stand up straight and do the job properly. And in the long run, you'll be a lot more efficient. You'll be much happier. And when you're my age, you'll still be able to detail. So be very careful of your posture and what you're doing in detailing. I see a lot of people, and they joke online that, oh, I didn't wear gloves. Ivan's going to come after me. Well, yes, I am coming after you. If you're a YouTuber or a content creator and you're applying a coating or you're working with an acid or something like that, please just wear gloves. I know it's not cool, but you'll be around much longer and much happier and much healthier if you start wearing gloves now. And if you're a professional detailer, you shouldn't be picking up a tool, a towel, or a chemical without your gloves on. I know I've done it myself too. Just think about it. If it's on you, it's in you. And sometimes the chemicals that we are dealing with are actually more dangerous to have on your skin than they are to inhale. So think about that one. Be kind to yourself, be kind to your body, and enjoy detailing. Make it safe. Other things that I see that don't make me happy, people climbing on cars, holding onto the roof rack, climbing up on the tire to get the roof. Get a ladder. They're cheap. They're like $20 for a little, 3-step stool. You can get the nice little platforms too. They're like $100. It's not that much. Falling off a wet tire could cost you a lot more. A lot more. So be very careful in what you're doing. Look at what you're doing. The final thing that for me really is annoying is people wasting their time. Efficiency is not cutting corners. Efficiency is gaining quality. Efficiency is making your detailing better and making your results better. Learn to be efficient. Like I said, that camera that you're trying to spot bad posture with, that can be used as well to see where you're losing time. And simple things like a cart or a detailer's helper belt can really change the way you detail. It can make you more efficient. Knowing ahead of time what you need to have with you, what you're going to be doing, and having it close by instead of walking back and forth from the car to the cabinet, from the car to the shelf, from the shelf to the cabinet, to the back, to the car, to the back of the car, to the front of the car. All that walking around looking for stuff takes your time and ultimately takes the fun out of detailing for you. But spending 2 or 3 minutes to organize yourself before the job, knowing exactly what you're going to be using, how to set it out, etc., that's great. And one of the inefficiencies that a lot of people have is simply having too many products. Now, if you're a content creator and you're reviewing products constantly, of course you're going to have a lot of products. That doesn't mean that you and me at home need all those products. Just because your favorite content creator has 32 different soaps doesn't mean you need to have 32 different soaps. Doesn't mean you mean to have 2 different soaps. Find one you like, enjoy it, use it, and then when it's over, go to the next one. And a lot of people make the mistake of buying gallons of stuff before even testing it or trying it. Just because your favorite content creator said, this is the best stuff ever, doesn't mean it's the best stuff for you. Might be the best for them. Might be the greatest. Might be the ultimate for them, not for you. Thanks for joining me. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, leave them below. Always happy to answer. And we'll see you in the next deep dive.